How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. This is WandaVision Season 1, Episode 8, previously on. I'm here with my fiance.
It's me, it's Thermite. I'm his fiance.
Yes. Also, apologies for the my video. It's a little bit darker. I have blown out one of my light bulbs and I haven't gotten it replaced yet, so it's a little bit darker for this reaction.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but I'm making do. So, let's get this episode is called Previously On. So, are we going to get like a whole recontextualizing of everything that's been going down with Agnes or with Agatha? It's going to be hard to call her Agatha now.
Yeah. I think that makes the most sense. Like, in the same way that, well, for like the first 3 episodes, we got, like, just we're doing WandaVision, and then we got the big, let's recontextualize all of this from the sword perspective. I think that would also be a good way for them to buy some time. Like, I could see this being the big, like, we're going to go through all the eras from Agatha's perspective, maybe some backstory as well. And then, like, the finale can be, like, we're going to do the 2010s sitcom thing, or the 2020s sitcom thing, because, like,
yeah,
I just, there's no way they can do a 2010s episode and a 2020 episode, because, like, there's nothing to go off of.
I want a 2030 episode.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Now, it isn't. This is our longest episode yet, by far.
Damn.
Most of them have been very short, like under 30 minutes, whereas this one is over 40.
Still not at 50 though.
Still nothing at 50. No. It will always tickle me that it said 30 to 50 minutes, and most of the episodes aren't even 30.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into this one. Previously on. Okay, we are here for the discussion of Previously On, and Previously On in 1693. Oh, so glad we got back there. And yeah, it was a great bait and switch, because I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to do a thing where it's like Agatha was tried for being a witch, but she, broke her way out of it or whatever. Like, I thought we were going to give her more of a, tragic past or something like that, but, which I was surprised about because of how wacky she was, but no, we're going the exact opposite. She is, like, the evil witch, and, is, like, just fully sucked all the power. It's interesting that, like, do you think there's other witches still out there?
I think so. Like, the fact that we have sorcerers means I feel like it really depends on what a witch is.
And we also have, to be fair, it seemed like we had, no sorcerers left up until Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame was the real, and here's a whole bunch of sorcerers.
Yeah, I have no idea where the fuck they were, but, I guess, again, all at just the training facility. Like, we have a fuckload of sorcerers that are in training, but ones that can actually, defend Earth, can, stay at one of the Sanctum Sanctorums. We only have Strange and Wong, right? That's it.
Yeah. Like,
everybody else has been killed. So, we have a lot of them in training, and we're going to train more witches, but, I don't know. I'm going to guess that if there are any witches left, it's going to be an extremely, extremely small amount. There's no, community of witches anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's also a very MCU thing to do, to be like, you were going to introduce that there was a bunch of witches, but we don't want to have to deal with that or talk about, what have they been doing for the past 100 years, so we're just going to, they all died there.
Yeah, the specific phrasing that Agatha had of, you were a baby witch and you had this power and it would have died on the vine, makes me think that, there's probably a lot of people out there who have the potential to, do magic, to, be trained as a sorcerer or a witch or, any other sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's if no one's going to tell you about the runes, or if no one's going to tell you about, the circles that the sorcerers use, then, you can't really do anything with that. And so it is a big, because there are so few sorcerers and there are so few witches, there will always be few sorcerers and few witches unless, unless the Sanctums, try really hard to try and find more people. Or if, there's a coven out there that's actively trying to find, potential witches and, recruit them in.
Yeah. I think it's also, interesting that like witches, you are born as a witch, and like that power may go away, and maybe you won't be able to act it. Like even if later in life you learned how to use it, you wouldn't be able to use it because it died on the vine essentially. But like sorcerers, anybody can be a sorcerer. Sorcerer is not like something you're born into. That's just like anybody can be a sorcerer.
Yeah, that's more just like, can you do the training? Like, do you have a mind that can accept this?
Yeah. I mean, even then, it's less about do you have a mind that can accept this, and do they trust that you have a mind that will accept this? Like, it's not like you have to have a certain level of mind. It's just like, you know, Carmitage wants you to have a certain level of mind. But so it's not like an actual like supernatural restriction on it, you know? Like anybody could be. Whereas like witches, you know, there is a, you know, you have to be born a witch. I'm assuming. It's interesting that although we got this whole previous one, we did not get an explanation on what the fuck happened with Pietro in terms of his powers.
Yeah.
Like the Mind Stone amplified Wanda's magic powers. Did it just straight up give Pietro, you know, super speed? Or was he also a witch, and, you know, he also got, you know, his powers amplified? But like, you know, all he thought to use it, like as a sporty guy, he thought like, you know, I'm just gonna run faster. You know, like that's how a lot of the shit works, I imagine. Wanda, you know, does a lot of hex-based stuff, changing probability, because that's the first thing she used it on, and so that's kind of in her mind what she can do.
Yeah, and like for the longest time, she seemed to think that her ability was just, you know, mess with people's minds and lift things.
And that's what Hydra wanted her to do with it. So like, again, it's all just like the mental block you have on. Like I'm right now going to, until I'm told otherwise, believe that Pietro, whether he had magic or if it was something else, but like that he had to have already had something in him that was then amplified by the stone, and he just like had a mental block of like, you know, this gave me the ability to run fast.
Right. Yeah, I totally buy into that. And like I really liked this, like the fact that the Scarlet Witch is a thing. Like that is, I'll just say right now, that is not a comic thing.
I assume
that makes me very excited.
Yeah, like that was very out of left field. I've never heard of this before, but I'm very interested in how it goes. Really quick, did you recognize the Mother Witch?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because yeah, like she makes herself a crown and all that, and were they
that's
thinking?
Gotta be.
Were the witches thinking that Agatha was the Scarlet Witch, or that she would become the Scarlet Witch? Maybe. Was Agatha trying to become the Scarlet Witch?
Maybe. I'm really curious to see like what her deal was here. Like, what is this forbidden magic she was tapping into? Because like her story seemed like, from what we've seen so far, it actually does feel like kind of a parallel to Caecilius from Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And that they're both like these really strong apprentices who tapped into something that, you know, is forbidden to tap into.
Immortality? I mean, she's lived for hundreds of years. We don't know anybody other witches who have. I mean, it could be because they're all dead, but...
Yeah, and she did bring up the, like, you know, I couldn't use necromancy to bring back your brother because his corpse is, you know, in Sokovia and it's full of holes.
Yeah. But I mean that still tracks though. Like I think that still works on, she could use necromancy, but she couldn't because the corpse is too far away and it was full of bullet holes, so it'd be too obvious.
Yeah, that's totally what I was going for.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I think that does, so implies that she can use necromancy maybe.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's gonna, you know, come up. Like, does Westview have a cemetery? Get a zombie fight?
I mean, I could see her just straight up saying to Wanda, like, you know, not only can I not kill your kids, which I can do right now, but we can go to Sokovia, we can go grab your brother, I can resurrect him.
I mean, so could Wanda, assumingly.
Yeah.
Like, they both could do that.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? We still don't know if Wanda can do necromancy, but she can certainly create a new person.
Yeah, like, we still don't know, like, in a moral sense, in a philosophical sense, like, what is this vision? Because now we know that this is magic, and like, reality changing magic. Like, the possibilities are endless.
And he certainly
like
is sentient. Like, whether he is the old the Vision or not, I mean, he's clearly not, because he has a different sentience than that one had, like a different memories, different everything, blah blah blah. But that also is like the what makes you, like, am me now the way I am not the same me from in the past, because I have more memories and shit now.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they'll touch on with that for next episode, because we have the the Vision's body, and we have the Vision, this is the Vision created by by Wanda, by the Scarlet Witch, and like, which one of those is more Vision, or are either of them Vision?
And then
are
we
they
have
just
Cataract
two separate
as well.
beings? Yeah,
we now have the Vision, Cataract, and Fission, if you will, fake Vision. I'm so happy we have Agatha just here like the whole time now, just be delivering quips and jokes, like whatever the serious situation going on.
Yeah, this episode would have been, I mean, it's already so heavy. It would have been 10 times heavier. It would have been so hard to watch without her, in the background making quips.
Oh yeah. Now, I think that for all the decades we went through, we were going like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this show more specifically, or this show more specifically. I don't think we got any of them right except for Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me. But I do like that they were like, listen, look, here are the very specific shows that we're basing this off of. Like, or I mean, more specifically, this is what Wanda is basing this off of. Because, of course, like, Wanda isn't even going like, I'm going to make an amalgamation of all the 50s TV shows. Like, she's like, no, I liked the Dick Van Dyne show, so that's what I made. That.
Yeah. Like, I love how, like, this explains so much about the worlds in this clear, like, yeah, she wasn't thinking about anything. This is the purest expression of what is in her heart. In her heart, she loves sitcoms. Which, like, I've seen so many interviews with people, like, on, on the, Divided by the Iron Curtain. And all that talk about, like, American sitcoms, like American genes, and the, like, yeah, I really love how, like, even though that's not what the deal is in Sokovia, it is still, like, that same energy of, like, we love these sitcoms because, god damn it, they're so good, because nothing bad happens in them. They are escapism.
Like, yeah, there's American sitcoms are the purest form of escapism. Like, it is, the propaganda working. Like, that is why those shows were created the way they were, to try and calm down America, essentially, to try and pacify it. But, like, it works, and it is, like, it was made more for people in America, but it works so much better for people outside of America in terms of, like, calming down, such like being, shutting off your mind, escapism, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And like, we even see in this episode that they are, like, trying to, like, learn English and erase their accents by watching these shows as well.
Yeah, and like, I mean, if you want to get out of there, it's a very understandable situation to be in. And like, even after all that, like, the fact that Wanda still watches all these shows and everything like that, like, it's, watching stuff like that after, trying to get over like a death and stuff is very, very, like, it's, you want something that is mind-numbing and is going to keep your mind off it, and you don't want something that has like a serious plot where things go bad and where, bad things happen and stuff. You just want something goofy and, where nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, it is so unbelievably relatable. Like, I really, really enjoyed her dad's talk about shenanigans, or like the family's talk about shenanigans. Because, yeah, like, that is... I want a little tag on, like, any show I watch that has the shenanigans tag on it as a, like, if I'm picking this up, I'm not going to accidentally get to the episode where a character dies for real and everyone's going to a goddamn funeral. Like, I want to be totally sure that when I feel like absolute garbage and I just want something to make me feel good, I can just pop in some shenanigans.
Yeah, like it's so easy to accidentally fall into that. Like, you know, I've been in that exact same situation where, like, grieving over something very hard, trying to get over something, watching sitcoms and stuff, and then, like, oh, let me try and watch Rick and Morty. Whoa, that was a bad idea. Like,
yeah.
You don't want to be reminded of that shit, and so you want the tag of just, like, comfort. And, like, that's the thing too, you know, characters that you know in and out, there's no, like, surprise, like, oh, what are they gonna do this time? It's like, I know exactly what they're gonna do. I know these characters. I've seen a billion episodes of these characters. I can almost just play the episode out in my head from the title alone. And, like, that's what you want.
Yeah. It is something I've heard from a lot of people, like, you know, who are very into streamers. It is, but, like, it's even more, like, reliable, because you know for a fact exactly what you're gonna get, even if you haven't seen, like, the episode of Malcolm in the Middle or the episode of I Love Lucy. It is like, I generally understand what's gonna happen. It is my comfort zone.
Yeah, like, I said sitcoms, but it really isn't sitcoms that helped me over that sort of stuff. It was definitely streamers and stuff like that. Like, number one, watch, like, seasons of Twits and Crits, a D&D podcast, was definitely something that helped me a lot. And also just playing copious amounts of TF2 and not letting myself stop. just doing that for, like, weeks and weeks until, you know, my brain was able to move on.
Yeah,
and, like, that's really what it is. It's, you know, a lot of time, and in the very, you know, beginning stages of it, talking about it, and, you know, trying. I mean, really, just trying to talk about it, it's not going to help. You know, you need time to separate first, and then you can talk about it. But talking about it at the beginning really does not help.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's also different person by person, but still. I feel like this is an extremely relatable thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to
say? Just that, like, I'm looking at the, like, box of DVDs they have, and I cannot believe, like, A, that there's no Full House in here, and B, that, like, this whole series, as far as I can tell, has never done, like, a Full House reference or, like, you know, a Mary-Kate and Ashley reference.
Yeah, I guess that is a good point.
Like, you know, specifically because, you know, Wanda's actress is, you know, their younger sister. It's the most, like, I can't believe this is the one thing they've chosen not to, like, parody.
Wait, sorry, say it again? Is the younger what do you mean? She was in Full House? Is that what you're saying?
No, she's Mary-Kate and Ashley's younger sister.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did not know that. But yeah, I am surprised they didn't do a Full House thing, but I guess, like, it wouldn't work for this. Like, you would need a full house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but like, my brain, ever since we started watching WandaVision, I've been thinking about that so much, and, like, especially once the twins showed up, I was like, how are they not doing a Mary-Kate and Ashley reference? But at the same time, like, I get it. There's really, it's not that, like, none of the sitcoms we do are that specific type of sitcom. It's never, like, the Brady Bunch or Full House dynamic.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's always way more like, that's why Malcolm in the Middle was actually really interesting to me, because Malcolm, I mean, that was the first time where we were seeing it mostly from the kids' perspective. But the parents are still very important characters. You know, whereas I feel like most other sitcoms, if it's on the kids, the parents have way less of a focus, whereas Malcolm in the Middle, the parents had, like, a full, like, half the episode was devoted to them most of the time. So, like, that made a lot of sense to do that. But yeah, with stuff that is, like, everything else they did was way more, like, married couple stuff, rather than, like, family stuff. Which is interesting that that's the most of what they watched, but instead of family stuff.
I mean, maybe that stuff just sold really well in Sokovia.
Yeah, like, it's all about, like, what you can get your hands on.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of how they're trying to make money. It's yeah, you got to play for the audience,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did love in general just getting explanations on witchcraft stuff in this episode, like the very specifics of it, talking about the runes, talking about the protection spells, talking about the Wanda's as chaos magic, various
Yeah.
stuff about like the rules about how it works, rather than just being like, here's what, like anytime you introduce something and go like, here's what it can do, you gotta introduce what it can't do, or like what you need to be able to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and like having our the main witch we know about, the main witch we've known through the MCU, having been the fact that it is Wanda, the fact that it is the Scarlet Witch, the one who breaks all the rules, is a really they really lucked into it in a great way, because if it was any other character and they had to do more of a retcon, they'd have to do a lot of work as to why is it that these rules didn't apply in any of the other things, or why are we explaining all this now but we didn't have to think about that before. Having Wanda be the one that is the most powerful, the one that breaks everything, is such a perfect way to handle that.
Yeah, and yeah, it being so ill-defined in the first place really helps as well. Like the fact there isn't a concrete, the fact that if you asked most people what her powers were, they'd still say magic.
Yeah.
I think you ask the random person on the street, they would not be like, well, her brainwaves were amplified by the Mind Stone, and
also just having having Agnes be so pissed off about it, the fact that we are introduced to these rules by her going here's how I do it, these are the rules, it took me a long ass time to learn how to do this, and then why the fuck can you do it without thinking about it, and to the level of an entire town? What is wrong with you? I don't understand.
It's something I freaked out about the whole time too. I just keep saying automatic magic, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's cheating. You shouldn't be able to do this. This is crazy. It feels like it's so cool to watch, and also how do you do this? Oh, I love it. And we still don't really know how Agatha is, why she's here. Was she in the town already, or did she come to the town?
Well, I think we know that she came to the town, because she was describing it as this enormous thing happens, and then it alerted her, and then she came to check it out.
Okay. Yeah, I must have missed that part. But, okay, yes, I think that is, clarification. I feel like that, that is exact clarification of what I wanted. I just missed it.
I also, selfishly, am very happy that the Scarlet Witch is, a thing, because I can still cling to my theory of, the reason why her powers are red is because they're based on reality. Because that would be a clear, not all magic is necessarily that, but hers is, because, she is the Scarlet Witch, because it is something special.
Yeah. Now, the Scarlet Witch, is this a prophecy, or is this someone that already existed? Because, we see when she uses it, when she breaks open the Mind Stone to be the yellow Mind Stone, and then it amplifies her powers and that, and then she sees what looks like the Scarlet Witch coming to her.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about?
I mean, the main thing she did in Age of Ultron was give people visions of the future that we now that we have since learned have been very, very they've all had foreshadowing for stuff that actually happened in later stuff. So it could be her just having a vision, but I mean, maybe it's also the Scarlet Witch coming down going oh, you're my next incarnation.
It's also the kind of fortune telling thing though, where the vision she gives them is so broad that it could have come true in a multitude of ways. I mean, with some of them, some of them are more specific, where it's well, that one you couldn't have fucked up with, but I mean, that one is just too specific to say that about. But for a lot of them, they were broad enough. No, not to say anything, but it could go either way. Because
that could also have just been her seeing herself in the future.
Yeah, that could have been what that was. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because like once you have like any level of prophecy stuff, then like that also opens up the possibility of the witches in the past being like, oh, we used magic to see the future, and we know that at some point there's going to be the Scarlet Witch, who is the this ultimate powerful being.
Yeah.
But we don't know like how far it's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, right. When I brought up Caecilius, I forgot to bring this up myself, but the other connection I wanted to make is that Caecilius steals the the book with the incantation to summon Dormammu, except for the 2 pages he actually needed.
Like a fucking idiot. Or no,
no, it's the other way around. He stole the pages.
Yeah, he only ripped out 2 pages.
Yeah,
2 pages of a book he did not even read at any point. Like, God, the whole thing. Also,
Listen,
I do want to say here
please.
for the first time, watched the deleted scenes for Doctor Strange. We both did, and man, it made me instantly like, oh wow, this movie could have been good. Like there was so much Caecilius stuff that if it was in the movie, would have made the movie a decent movie, as opposed to one of my least favorite MCU movies of all time.
Yeah, agreed. Like there's enough there, and like none of it contradicts what we saw. It's not a like, well, this doesn't work for the continuity. It's clearly just like, yeah, this is the information you need to understand why you should give a damn about Caecilius.
Yeah,
and
like
they removed it.
It makes him a person, a character with wants and goals and feelings, as opposed to just a plot device. And it also, had some great scenes with Strange himself that made me like him more. But I mean, there was a lot of deleted scenes there for Doctor Strange that were taken out. Very strange to put on Tish.
Oh.
But yeah, so like go back to the Caecilius thing you're talking about.
Oh, that we know that Agatha also has a book.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, weird, mysterious book with glowing energy to it. So that could also just be a she also stole the book that had secret information in it you're not supposed to use.
She definitely did something like that. Like, there is like a, based on your age and your rank in the witch, whatever it's called, like the group of witches. Coven. Then, you get access to a certain amount of magic. But, she was like, fuck that, I'm getting the old queen magic shit. So, she went out of her age and rank to get magic. So it's basically like, whether it was a book thing, I mean, it has to be a book thing, right? Like books or runes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe she also made a deal with something, like the draining ability. Like they weren't expecting that, seems like, so.
Yeah.
But she also said, like, they bent to my power. So, like, she was already extremely powerful, and I think she is, like, saying the truth there. It's like, I didn't break the rules. Like, the rules bent to me. So, like, I wonder if she was just minding her own business or practicing magic and, figured out some shit.
I could definitely see that. Like, she just... she was a genius in that regard. And so she just, outpaced everyone.
Yeah.
Because that also actually makes her a really interesting parallel to Wanda in that case. Because, like, her backstory is her mom and the rest of the Coven going, you're too powerful, you're not supposed to be this advanced at this age. And now she's talking to Wanda and going, what is wrong with you? You are way too advanced for your age.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, she's just immediately taking on that role now. I wonder if she does have some sort of immortality thing as well going on, because she definitely is aging, but, very slowly.
Yeah. And, like, we do see that when she's draining the magic from the other witches, like, they get older. Like, they also get, corpsey and desiccated, but they do age visually. And so I'm wondering if that has something to do with the fact that, like, through the series, we have also seen her, like, visibly age a little bit over time.
Yeah.
Like, if she's also been expending magic and therefore, like, getting older or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that being the case, yeah. Also, we didn't follow up on the Monica and Pietro stuff at all. Like, I guess that was just Agatha kidnapping her as well. But she kidnapped Monica that easily? Like, I thought she would be able to handle her own against her. But if Pietro had, like, if she gave Pietro or Pietro the speed powers, then you know, maybe that would be like a, you know, I can deal with energy, but I can't deal with speed.
Yeah. I mean, also, Monica doesn't really know what's going on. So if, like, Pietro just said, hey, let's go to my house and talk about this, like, she could have just, you know, dealt with her in that way, as opposed to, like, a fight.
In the middle of her investigating this shit, though, in the middle of her trying to, you know, help. Maybe, but I feel like it would be more that Pietro would be, you know, or Pietro would be kidnapping her or something. But that just made me realize something I didn't think about. Do you think Pietro is going to be, you know, someone they're going to have to fight?
Oh, yeah.
That could be a really cool way, like, you know, we're bringing him back here, one, because a cool surprise thing, but also, we can do Quicksilver shit again.
Yeah, we can.
An evil Quicksilver.
Oh, that is a really cool idea.
Because, yeah, we got a lot of people that are about to fight right now, so having some, like, stand-in people for them to have to deal with, you know, during the big fight would be really cool. I mean, like, how much shit do we have going on right now? We have Wanda, and we have Vision, who is on Wanda's side, but not really, you know. And, you know, we have, as our main villain, Agatha, but then we also have Hayward and his people coming in. We have Monica here to help as well. We have Pietro, who might get involved. We have the kids who have abilities as well. We got a lot. We have just the whole town's people in general that might help in some way.
Help or harm. Like, I really love the dynamics of that. In that, like, so few people understand what is going on, and the people who understand what's going on think Wanda's the bad guy.
Yeah, and I could see something happening where, like, they see her doing this, and, like, so they realize, like, oh, I guess it isn't Wanda. It's this girl who's doing all this. But, you know, I don't know. I definitely think they're going to get involved in some way, though. Like, the fact that we focus on them so much, it is like a reoccurring cast and everything. If this is anything like a TV show, you gotta have the whole cast come together for the final episode. And yet, getting to re-see her whole, like, going to Sword to get the body back and everything like that, and, like, you know, it's honestly huge twist that she didn't get that body. I'm very, very surprised that, you know, isn't the case.
Yeah, it's something we didn't even really discuss that much because I think we both took it as an obvious, like, yeah, and then she went there and took the body and then resurrected it.
Yeah. Like, why do you think she didn't?
I think it makes sense just as she would have to then fight the government forever.
I guess, but, I mean, I feel like that would definitely be worth it to bury your, you know, fiance, or your, whatever relationship they had, you know. I'd do it. And I'm not a superhero.
I don't know if I would, because they're just gonna nuke wherever you are and then take the corpse back because it can't be destroyed by nukes.
That's a good point, but I mean, well, that's a circumstance for me to deal with, but not for Wanda. Like, for Wanda, that wouldn't be able to happen.
There.
And, like, for me, it wouldn't be an adamantium corpse. So, if they wanted to nuke it, go ahead.
Oh, no!
It's better than them having it.
Fair.
But yeah, like, I don't know, I'm very surprised she didn't. Like, there would have to be apocalypse on Earth for me to not, you know, steal back that body, and I am a normal human being. I know I would get shot just trying to do it, and, like, fair, like, you know, they might still have the body because I just get shot trying to get it back and nothing ever happens, but at least I could die knowing that I, you know, am happy. Like, I'd be satisfied. Whereas, like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to live a life of torment knowing that I didn't do anything. But, like, you know, maybe she was just, you know, like, right now, I'm not going to, I need to, you know, she goes back in the car, she gets the deed and, like, goes all the way down there, and it's just, like, you know, dealing with her feelings right now, and, like, it's not a, like, oh, she had to go do it right away. She could do it literally at any point that she wants to. And doing it when they're all watching you and knowing, you know, it might be better to do it in secret. Even though they know it's you, you could do it in a disguise and there's no proof.
Yeah, like, I definitely took that whole thing as her just trying to process her grief. And a part of that was, I figured out that this place probably has Vision's corpse, so I'm gonna go try and get it back. Like, realistically, in that situation, I don't know what I would do, because I'd probably just be like, I'm still surprised that you have it. And I'm surprised that it's coming apart, and, like, what the fuck is happening? I
mean, I don't think I would be able to stop my rage. Like, Like, Wanda has far more patience than I do. I mean, truth, I would have never gotten to that body. I would have been stabbing Hayward immediately.
And I mean, she could only keep it bottled up inside for so long. Like, I mean, we did literally see it all explode out of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like when she sees Cataract, oh boy, that's gonna be bad. And we don't know what this vision's gonna be like. You know, how much memories it's gonna have, or anything. How much sentience does it have?
Yeah. Like, is this just an autonomous weapon? Like, does it even have AI on it? Like, is it just a drone?
Mm-hmm. And so, like, yeah, based off that, end credit scene, I mean, it was very obvious, but yeah, Hayward is 100% he was trying in that moment to get Wanda to use her powers on Vision and bring him back to life.
And that also does explain to me why it is that, when Vision was trying to get out of the Hex, like, why he wasn't going like, oh, fuck, it's the thing I've been trying to get this whole time, let's go save it.
Yeah.
Because, like, he had what he was looking... Yeah, like, he had the Vision in all regards. Like, he never wanted the thing in the Hex. He just wanted, he wanted his Vision to come back to life.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like, the way that they were taking it apart, too, was the most, like, you're not destroying, like, it's so obvious to anybody that looks at this that you're not destroying this thing. You are purposely taking it apart in a way where it can be put right back together, and you just want it to look as gruesome as possible. And, like, the only things they were doing to actually destroy it was, shaving off the coloring on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay. So now I can see, exactly. I already thought, like, well, he's just trying to do this to, like, he's making it look like he's, like, essentially torturing Vision to get Wanda to, freak out and bring him back to life and all that. But, like, when that plan didn't go, it's just like, okay, well, just put it back together. And then, we'll find a way later. And it's interesting that they needed the tiniest little amount of power. Like, just, like, the slightest bit of Wanda's powers was enough to bring him back.
Well, I guess, like, since it is, like, probability magic, I guess you just need a little bit for it to be, to change the probability to it's gonna work.
How does that work?
I mean, we also saw the the undetonated thing for, like, that undetonated thing has been undetonated for like 30 years. Like, she put a hex on it and it has, like, it's still active, like, it's still beeping. And for 30 years, the chances of, is it going to go off right now? Is it not? Has always come up no.
But her ability can't be
cool to me.
Yes, but her ability can't be solely probability stuff. Like, what is bringing, making Vision or fission? Like, what how is that probability?
True. I guess I don't really know how they would be, like, harnessing that magic. Or, like, in what specific way they're doing it. Because we don't really know, like, we know they've tried everything they possibly could to try and, like, get him back online, and nothing's worked. What worked here?
I think they're just, like, pumping it into it. Like, they just have it in a glass case, and they're just kind of pumping that juice into Vision, and they're not really like, here's scientific what we're doing. We're just like, there's magic in this thing. Pump it.
My tax dollars are going to this?
It worked!
Well, actually, I guess the thing they're replacing is actually the Mind Stone. Like, if I had to choose something. Because, like, they have every other part of me except for the Mind Stone. And, like, her powers, like, even if they are not Mind Stone powers, even if they are, the magic of the Scarlet Witch, like, I guess that might just be close enough to, like, replace that X factor.
Now, do you think he's gonna sound like Vision, or do you think he's gonna have, like, an American accent? Like a strong American accent? Like, I'm picturing Hayward being like, well, if I'm gonna make Vision, I'm gonna make him an all-American. Howdy there, Wanda.
Oh, no!
Or I want it to have, like, an even more robotic voice. Like,
yeah, I definitely want it to be more robot-y.
Like, I want it to be, like, worse. Like, this is definitely a, like, step down. But, I mean, considering it is just, like, they kind of just put him back together and then use Wanda's magic on him, it's not like it's that different. It's not like they, made a worse Vision or anything like that. They just kind of put it back together.
God, that's so cool.
This whole episode, just getting all the recontextualization for everything is the fucking coolest.
Yeah.
Absolutely dug this episode. It's so good. One thing it's funny that we got confirmation that it was Malcolm in the Middle, that the 90s thing was the show that didn't air in the 90s.
Yeah.
Can't believe we got confirmation. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, the whole like Wanda and Hydra and everything like that. Like, now that I have been reading through the Silver Age comics and everything, like I appreciate the stuff with Wanda and Hydra so much more, because it is like you know, it is the perfect way, like even way back in Ultron, like it is the perfect way to do the whole like her and Pietro working begrudgingly under Magneto, better than, or not better, like not better. I think that's honestly better. But in a universe where you don't have Magneto and you don't have the mutants yet and all that stuff, like this is a, you know, just a great way to do that in a different way. And you know, I appreciate that a lot more now that I have like seen the original storyline and everything that was going on with her and Pietro and Magneto and all that.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear.
Yeah, but yeah, I really appreciate having, you know, someone on the team who is like, you know, who went through that whole phase of being radicalized and then falling into a very, you know, wrong group, like going towards the way wrong group for the right reasons. But
yeah.
And then, you know, being saved by, you know, the people that she was out to, you know, get the entire time. And then being like, okay, well, you know, I'll be a part of this now. I'm going to integrate myself back into society. And then immediately getting radicalized again the moment she does some small thing wrong. And then everybody, you know, shits on her. And, like, just, I appreciate having this character who, you know, has gone through these phases.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the other Avengers don't really have a leg to stand on when it comes to a lot of, you know, big world stuff and just, like, getting involved in it and everything like that. But, like, Wanda has all the legs to stand on. Like, she is the person who can be going around and, you know, dealing with this shit, like, internationally and stuff. Like, she understands how that shit works. And she has lived through it, and, you know, she is someone I trust fully to handle that kind of shit.
Yeah. And, like, this level of, like, fleshing stuff out and just giving us more to work with and more to, like, dig our teeth into is something I'm really, really happy that WandaVision is doing, and it's something I'm hoping that the other TV shows can also do.
We've talked about that so much, but I still agree very heavily.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about the fact that, like, Black Widow is, you know, a character where we've said before, like, or, you know, the movies have said that, you know, she's gone through a similar path of, like, you know, being radicalized and then, like, going through, you know, a bunch of stuff, eventually working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and going, like, all right, finally, I'm working for the good guys. And then she learns S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra, and she's like, God damn it, now I've got to change factions again and work for the actual good guys. But, like, it's so hard to feel that, like, movie to movie, especially since so much of the, like, characterization happens between the movies.
Yeah, like, I really hope that the Black Widow movie is, you know, like, really delves into a lot more. I mean, like, obviously it's gonna be a whole prequel thing, but, like, man, it's so needed, but it feels like it's coming out way too late. Like, far too late. I'm gonna enjoy it, I'm sure, but, like, they should have put out this kind of movie, you know, way in the past. Like, they're so far, it is so late. Unbelievable.
I fully agree. It is unforgivable that we didn't get a, like, you know, a solo thing with Black Widow way earlier. Like, you know, with someone like Wanda, it works a bit better because she's been so tertiary. Like, I fully feel comfortable in Phase 4 going, like, and now we are going to finally start focusing on her.
Yeah.
But, like, Black Widow has been there since Phase 1, and it's like, well, how in the world have we not given her a big focus thing? How have we gone through her entire arc through the movies, and we have never done a, like, and here's, you know, the big, you know, focusing entirely on her thing, like, as if she's an Avenger.
Like, yeah, she always gets, even, you know, she's in so many movies, but even still, in the movies, she doesn't really get any moments at all, or anything. And, like, I mean, it sucks. Like, you know, since Endgame, you know, like, since she has died, we have gone like, okay, Tony dies, give Tony a funeral. Vision dies, Wanda, like, I'm gonna get that body back. He deserves a funeral. We're having an entire show because she is dealing with the grief of Vision. Meanwhile, Black Widow dies, no funeral, nobody cares, nobody gives a shit that she's dead.
Justice for Black Widow.
It truly feels like the only person in the universe who gives a shit about Black Widow is Hawkeye and Hulk. And that's it. Just those two. Nobody else. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I want them to retcon, number one, that she got a funeral.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna be the number one thing. If Black Widow doesn't show that she got a fucking funeral, I'm gonna be so mad, because they need to retcon that. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say. You know, actually, still talking about Tony really quick. As much as I hate Tony after everything we've gone through the past 3, you know, phases with him. You know what? It makes a lot of sense. There's no universe in which a Stark missile would have been defective. Wouldn't have happened. Not a chance. Should have seen it from the very beginning. It was so obvious. How these nerds not see it from Iron Man 1? I don't know why I said it's an Ultron. From Iron Man 1, they should have known.
I would have lost my mind if in Ultron, when he heard about what happened to the twins, if he just stared at them and went, bullshit, there's no way you survived.
You sure didn't say
My
hammer?
missiles never fail. If it was my missile, you would be dead.
Oh, just seeing Tony like, I gotta go back to the workshop. Gotta make these missiles better.
She must have warped reality to make my missiles not kill her.
Oh god. Okay. We'll see you guys for the next episode, the final episode of WandaVision. I'm gonna be so sad to see it go.
Oh, yeah, it has been so damn good.
Loving it so much. See you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.